She studied Asian history, she studied literature, and she also has studied something else, Chinese historical studies. I didn't even know that was a subject. So she knows what she is doing, and which is quite evident in her work. And it really helped me understand the book better when I got to know that what she's writing about is basically a retelling of what China has gone through,
Mm.
obviously with more fantasy elements mixed in.
Okay.
Um, okay, so the biggest what's the word? The chapter that disturbed me the most, and I guess this is what Julia was also referring to, was chapter 21 with the massacre and the gosh, it was so awful. I was like listening to it, but most of it I just wanted to keep going out off my head because I just did not want to like digest it. It was just too disturbing. But then through my extra reading, I gathered that this was actually a retelling of what actually happened in real life in 1937. Most of it word for word. Like actually what happened in that chapter is what happened in the real world. So I was like, huh, okay, that's weird. So I had to look into that a bit more. It was when the Japanese invaded China. And most of it, what happened in that was actually what happened to those people. So I was like, okay, that was a bit disturbing because why would you incorporate that into your book? It's weird. It felt very, I don't know. It's like she was using real life history to kind of progress her book. It's like if somebody took the Holocaust and wrote about that and made it fantastical,
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't that be slightly gross? It would to me. It's like it would be weird. So that part gave me the ick, but I was like, ugh, why would you write this? But then again, after I read that it's based on real life events, I was like, okay, I see what we're doing here. I also read that the reason why she wrote that was because she feels like a lot of people in the Western world does not know much about Asian history. But I mean, I grew up in Asia, but even I did not learn about this. So what she wanted to do was to kind of bridge that gap and help people learn more about it through her writings. And I guess she did achieve that because I did not know anything about this law. And reading her book, I kind of had to learn more about it. So I was like, oh, okay, I get it. So yeah, that part just, I don't know how I feel about that. I'm still thinking about that. Then I also learned that so the gods that she wrote about are also real, not real, but it's based on Chinese mythology. Like these are actual characters that people have in their country. So they're not like made up gods or anything. All of them are real. And I also learned that the names that she has used are like actual historical figures, like Nezha. Oh, by the way, he came back and he died again. Do you think he's gonna come back again? I think he's
I,
gonna come back
I think
again.
if he doesn't come back, then it's like really stupid that he survived the first time.
Right? That part was like, oh, Nezha's back. Okay, cool. Apparently, that's a real historical character. And that's
Hmm.
also really weird. It's not his name. There were some like three or four other people's names were actual like real life character names. And that's weird. It's like if someone wrote a fantasy book and they said, "Oh, Abraham Lincoln," said, "Oh, well, they did that with the Vampire Hunter, huh?" Okay, well, fine, whatever. So yeah, and that examination is also supposedly real. The Keju, the one that she did at the beginning to get into the military school, that's real
Mm.
too. But it's more like the bar exam, where they kind of see if you're like good enough to be in a certain profession. So yeah, and also the hexagrams that they were like using towards the end of the book, those are all real. It's more like tarot card readings, but not well executed apparently. She just took that element and kind of mixed it into her book, but it's not very accurate. So yeah, those are like some of the stuff that I found out reading more about it, but yeah, those are the weird stuff. Coming back to Nessa, did you guys notice that all of a sudden when he came back from the dead, she was like so nice to him and he was like really nice to her? It was so out of touch. Like she was so mean to him and he hated her at the beginning. And all of a sudden, now that he's back, she's like, "Oh, Nessa, I love you. You're back and you're my only friend." Like, how did that happen? It was so weird.
Yeah, kind of
They
weird.
trauma bonded.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess that's a thing too. But it was kind of like weird because there was no like. It should have at least had like a slight ramp up or something like. But it was just instant buddies. Uh,
Yeah, they were instant buddies. It was weird. And then the Phoenix at the end, that was giving very much X-Men, like with Jean and her Phoenix. That's what it
hmm.
felt like to me. That was
Okay.
exactly it. How I kept picturing it too the
Yeah,
whole
that's
time.
fair.
Yeah, what else? We still don't know anything about Rin's background. All we know is that she's a Speary, but apart from that, we don't know who her parents are. Like, how come if she's a Speary, she survived, and how she came out to be in the other side of the country. We don't know that. And the part where somebody asked her, "Oh, so are you going to start making babies with Alton now since you guys are the only remaining Fairies?" I was like, "Huh, good point," but she can't because she doesn't have it anymore. And that kind of reminded me of like if Aang like had a permanent vasectomy or something, there won't be airbenders anymore in the world. But he didn't, which is why we have airbenders. But this girl does not have anything to go around with, so the people, her kind, dies with them. Well, Alton died anyway, so whatever. Unless he didn't, unless he comes back too.
Mm.
I don't know. That's all I have to say. Just I'm confused. I don't know how I feel about this book. The more I think about it, it just gets deeper and weirder. But at face value, it's a good fantasy book. I got to know more about history reading through it. So yeah, that's it.
Crazy. Okay. Shall I, or would you like to go now?
I can go.
Okay.
I didn't read into the backstory like Manel, but I always had some inkling that this was based in history, like some sort of it. Like I had a feeling she pulled certain things out of history, the gods, um, everything. I just was like, okay, like this seems like whatever. Anyways, I did not like this book in the end. I understand where everything came from, like the graphicness of it, like whatever, but and I'm not generally soft, but like reading about that, like it just kind of fucking threw me off. Like it really threw me
Mm-hmm.
off. One, the way she killed the dog, because that's how where it fucking started. And then two, the way they described the torture and things like that, and it was just a little bit too graphic for me. And I had to think about it because I was just like, okay, well, we've read graphic books before, like about murder, and we watch movies about it too. Like, what was it about this that you know just kind of made me feel ill because really that's what it made me feel like. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but it was just I just felt like it didn't need to be there for whatever reason. I don't know why. I feel like she could have. I don't know. I just didn't like it. I hated the whole pregnant lady thing. I thought of Yuminel, which is why I had like a fucking trigger warning because I was just like, I wouldn't want to fucking read that shit. No offense. Maybe it's just me. And you know what I mean? Because I was just like, what the hell? Like, and then throwing the babies up in the air and like cleaving them in half. Like, I didn't want to read that. And I understand that it was based in history and that you have to add it. You kind of have to like add it to really understand the hate that everybody feels. But we went through like fucking 6 pages of just very graphic ways people were
Mm-hmm.
murdered. And I think it was excessive. I think she could have got that across without us literally having to like read it for as long as we did because it was literally from the minute they stepped into that fucking city we just read about torture for the next like 5 or 6 pages and it was just like a little bit too much for me. I was like, I don't know about this, like I don't know, you know what I mean? I think it was like after that point I kind of checked out. I was like, okay, whatever, you know what I mean? I don't like Rin. I don't like her as a person. I feel like I guess I just don't really understand her character because when she was going through school and she was with Jiang and she was kind of learning and she's like, oh, I understand like this and that. Like, okay, fine, whatever. And then in the end, and again, it's because she's an orphan or she's adopted or whatever. But in the end, she just bowed to the weight of Catelyn's anger and decided to just like throw everything away and say, you left me. And this, like, she never wanted to listen to reason. She only wanted people to tell her what she wanted to hear, or she only
Mm-hmm.
wanted to listen to people that fueled what she wanted. But she wasn't willing to like open herself up to other ideas or other possibilities. I didn't like that. I thought she was annoying as fuck at the end when she was at the Phoenix and then like all of a sudden when she was just like, oh well, what did I do? What did I do? And it's just like you literally, oh my fucking god, what are you doing? You stupid fucking bitch. I'm gonna fucking calm down. I'm gonna calm down because I really want to rear end the fuck out of this lady and your stupid fucking Tesla. Anyways, God, I'm so angry. Ooh, anyways, like the whole Phoenix thing and her taking in the Phoenix and she's like, I understand it, and like the anger, it was just I didn't make no sense to me. It made no sense to me. And she's like, oh, you know, I don't know. It's just like she wanted one outcome and she was stop at nothing to get that outcome. And I feel like there was no pause as to her maybe building out this other side of her that was a little bit more empathetic or had a strategy, which is what she wanted to fucking pledge in the beginning. Like, where did her strategy go? It ended up just
Mm-hmm.
being, I want power, I want to feel can kill everything, I don't give a shit. And it's just like, okay, but where was that curious person in the beginning? Where was that person who wanted to kind of like, I don't know. So in the end, I didn't really fucking like Rin. I thought it was stupid. I thought it was stupid how she absorbed the entire Phoenix and was just like, oh yes, and then like she never, and I don't know, okay, but she saw this lady who was warning her and warning her and warning her. She never asked fucking questions. She never wondered. She never was curious about like, okay, like what the fuck is going on? Like, well, tell me more. You know what I mean? And when she did hear more, she was just like, oh, you know what? No. You know what I mean? And
We lost you.
I know, Julia's frozen.
Yeah. Very frozen. At least for me, her like pause frame is pretty funny. She
Yeah,
looks
I
like
see
she's
her like,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's the same for me. That's taken a really long time though.
Yeah. Usually she doesn't have this much trouble on the way home, but I know
Yeah,
during that through that 241 it can get dicey. Who knows? It doesn't surprise me all of the extra info that you found from this author because that's like what she does. I I
that
I
is what she
I,
does.
I appreciate what she did, but I'm kind of like questioning it like you are right now. But like I
That-
appreciate the effort because not a lot of people do that kind of thing like she does. But I don't know if it was a good idea here.
I get her reasoning, but I've never come across a book where she just directly took something out of history like that and plopped it in to this extent. Like
Yeah,
even Lord of the Rings, the author, he served at World War I, right? And he wrote about like the companionship amongst the uh
right,
hobbits, I guess.
right.
And the like
But
he wrote Secrets of
it's
the
more
Law.
like inspired by rather than just like
Exactly, yeah.
plopped
She just
in.
literally there was this book that she took this content off of, and she just literally just took chunks of it and inserted it. That's all she did. Like it's word for word almost, which is why I'm just really struggling with it. It just feels gross.
Yeah. Julia,
But
you
she
there?
achieved. Yeah,
Oh, she
she
tried.
came back and she went.
Yeah.
She achieved what
Um
she wanted to achieve, though. Like
right. Yeah, I don't know about that. Hmm.
same.
I wonder if this means maybe we won't go forward with this book.
I
Where
mean,
I'm at, where I'm at with it, like I wouldn't like need to go forward, especially like if it's bugging Julia enough. But I'm not like against it, you know. But I'm not like yeah, I'm also like not like incredibly stoked.
I see Atlas.
Yeah, that's his spot, especially when I'm here working. Okay, you are back. Yes, and now we can hear you. Hopefully, you weren't
My
talking to
fucking
yourself for
phone
too
got
long. Oh,
no, it
uh,
went like black immediately. My phone got hot.
Oh,
oh, got it. Okay. You were talking about not liking Rin. I'm not quite
Rin.
exactly sure where you were, but that's where you were. I don't know if you like talked more than that. Hmm.
Oh
Hopefully she didn't
no.
get hot again. Oh, kind of still there. We're getting like chunks of video and we hear no audio. If you can still hear
But
us.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
It was really delayed, but yes.
Yes.
Mm. Oh.
No, we lost second.
Okay, now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What the fucking hell? Oh my god, I can't hear you guys. I don't know. I'm so irritated right now.
Oh gosh. Okay. I think she's leaving.
Okay, we're gonna have to do it like this. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
If I do here, can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like the whole thing with Atlin too, when she just forgave him for being like a fucking druggie. And when they were in the mountain and she was just like, oh, I looked at Yang who abandoned me, and I looked at Atlin, my commander, who never left me, and I chose him. And I was like, girl, the fuck?
Yeah.
We're still good.
Yeah.
Are you still good?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
So like that whole thing pissed me off too. I was just like, whatever. Like, Atlin didn't really have a fucking plan. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just feel like she sucked Atlin's dick a little bit too fucking much. Like, I expect her to be strong and stand up for herself and kind of be her own person. And then all of a sudden, she's a fucking commander. I'd be mad as hell if I was Chagan. I'd be like, nah, fuck you, ho. Absolutely not. We're taking a vote. You're not in charge.
Mm.
I don't know. So in the end, I just didn't really like this book. I didn't like it. I don't know. I didn't like Rin. I still didn't get the information I wanted. I didn't like how graphic it was with the cutting off the breasts and shit. That one really threw me off. I didn't like how many animals died because it wasn't even that one time. Do you remember when they said that they rounded them all the stray cats and dogs up and then set them on fire and let them loose into the village too? Like that was just too much for me. And, like I get it's based on history, but like maybe that's not that kind of history I would read. And like Manel said, it'd be like turning into the Holocaust into a fantasy book,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just weird.
Mm-hmm. It
It's just
is
fucking
weird.
weird.
It's just so icky.
Icky. It's icky. Like if this is like base, if that's like true torture, which it is, obviously we know, you're just throwing a little fucking monkey man and a phoenix and a guy who fucking likes to make bombs, and all of a sudden it's just like a fantasy book. Like that's weird. Like I don't know. I don't like that. So, and like I said, I get it, but I don't like it. That's it.
Okay. Let's see. Mostly agree with everything said. In my mind, with Rin, like I'm questioning. I don't know. Like I'm probably wrong, but if I'm right, I think it would be cool. But I think that I'm wrong. Where like the only thing that would explain her behavior, because one thing that I appreciate is like from the beginning, I think she's had maybe like 7 or 8 times all throughout the book, starting very, very early, where she just straight up says that she craves power, like way or like way, way in the beginning, like even when she was first going into like the academy, like before she even really had power. And I kind of wonder if she's like a bad guy. Like I think with everything going on and how the way they're explaining it, I wonder if she ends up being like a bad person because of all of this, and that would be kind of cool and it would explain a lot of her actions. But if that's not true, and it's probably not true, because despite all of this extra cool stuff that she did all of her research on and all this like previous backstory that she's doing, this is feeling like a pretty like just normal and tropey book, so like it's probably like not true and she probably is like the correct heroine. But I don't know, pretty, but it's just one of those trigger things. As soon as I hear someone just like where like all they crave is power, I was like, ooh, you sound like a bad guy. And
Mm-hmm.
She
I
gets
that
off.
right, right, like a bad guy does. Like that's what that's like with most villains backstories, you like have that. And for whatever, there's reasons for why they need the power, but that's usually like kind of like at the core of it. So and there's signs that she's like making mistakes, and she's probably, maybe she is about to like destroy the entire world, which would make her a bad guy. But I don't really know. But um the all the graphicness was like a lot. it didn't like in high school I did this like really extensive project on like collateral violence in war, and I like researched a lot of this stuff. The like what you're talking about with China and Japan, heard a lot about from there. The stuff like in India, just it's like it's awful, and it's like it's pretty much like why I like hate war movies for the most part, especially like if they're like realistic. Those are the ones that I like dislike the most because I just hate the concept of it. So yeah, bringing it in here is weird, but all of the concepts of the things they were doing didn't like phase me as much because like I got mentally broken in high school rather than in this book. But yeah, as far as it fitting in here, very weird. I did suspect like it was around there, and also when she was dropping some certain other like Chinese mythological stuff, because like as you were mentioning, Manel, I recognized some of them, and like so like maybe like a quarter of the way through this second half, I started like thinking like I wonder how much like history is in here, and then and part of that was like all that violence because like like the actual like I think we call them like the opium something, or like it the the China war, like about opium, whatever like the proper name of it is. um
The war that she was referring to was the Nanjing massacre. It's also called the Nanking rape.
yeah, I remember that, but I just all I mean is like I remember within China there was also some like trade wars like about opium, more like civil
Oh
war
yeah,
type stuff.
yeah.
And so I don't know, I just kind of like had all these thoughts, but at the same time, kind of like you guys are, it just like putting it in a fantasy novel is just weird. And I would say all 99% of like the fantasy weebs, like the three of us, we're doing this for escapism, right? Like
Yeah.
there's a reason why we read mostly these and we're not reading a whole bunch of like nonfiction just naturally as people, because we like books to escape, I think, like at the core, right? And like putting this into fantasy feels kind of violating. It feels weird, and it doesn't feel like a good idea in general. um Absent of that stuff, I also think that it's like an okay fantasy story. I wouldn't mind learning more. I think just like the core lore of it is still interesting to me.
Mm.
And it's like intriguing, but yeah, like a lot of the rest of it is kind of like it's getting like bad enough to where I'm kind of meh on it. It would probably be like a 3 star for me. Uh, uh
Yeah.
yeah,
It's a 3. It's a 2 to 3 star for me.
fair.
It'd be like a 2.5. I
Yeah.
was like, can we
But
talk about that bitch has a praise kink? Like, why
Uh,
is that in there?
wait, wait, what?
She's a praise kink. She does that. She like gets off on people giving her compliments and giving her attention.
oh yeah, is
Remember
it?
it happened?
Yeah,
No.
I guess so.
And
Oh,
then like, happened and it got brought up again. I was like, okay. Like,
Yeah, yeah, that's fair.
I just don't like them. I don't know. I just don't like her as a person. But I think I would be cool if she became a villain. It'd be interesting.
Yeah, I just don't think. I mean, maybe this author's capable of that, but I have a feeling I'm wrong. But I think that that would be like the best thing that they could do. I think that that would be kind of dope, because
yeah,
then it
that
would make
was.
a whole lot more
I also
sense.
don't like I hated her too when she was like talking to Adeline and she was just like being insubordinate. And he's like, I'm your fucking commandant. And she's like, I just don't like her. Like, I don't
Right.
fucking like her. For somebody who really wants to help and all this shit, she's caused nothing but fucking problems.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think especially because of the graphic nature of all of the military stuff, it had my headspace in a very much so like realistic, like if this was an actual command unit, and her insubordination is not acceptable. I mean, it's like
Mhm.
different when it's a different kind of fantasy story and you're expecting the main character to rebel and stuff, but like the way the military stuff goes on in this, it seems like very like real. And so her doing that stuff, I'm like, you should like this is not okay. Like you just need to listen to your command officer and that's it. You know what I mean? Like,
But
yeah,
also,
I
I
thought
love
that too.
I don't know. I just feel like it's a Fantastic Four too with the CK, and I was like, okay, cool, whatever. Like they're all, I don't want to call it freaks, that's me, but like, yeah, they're all fucking weird and they have powers. Great. What are they?
Yeah. The other thing that I thought was like off putting as well was the group, the Sykes, the whatever. Um, like that Assassins Guild being like primarily composed of like kind of like jolly children was
Mhm.
like weird to me. Do you know what I mean? Because like Throne of Glass did that, and they were also children, but they weren't jolly. There's something
Yeah.
like I think it would make more sense that like they've lost that years ago, and they're just pissed at life. You know what I'm saying? More so like it was in Throne of Glass. Like when they're having like their little like kind of cute kitty banter, I'm like, this is weird. You guys are
I
murderers.
think
This is weird.
she just wanted to include like a comic relief character, but
I
it just
think
fell so
so.
flat because the setting was so like
Yeah,
not it.
inappropriate. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. I agree.
It's also weird that this book is marketed as YA and it has like chapter
Oh, it's
Hmm.
not
21.
YA.
Dang.
There's no way this is YA. It's not even NA. It should just be up there with like Game of Thrones or something. When Game of Thrones wasn't so gruesome.
No, it's really
It's
not.
it's definitely not YA. Just because Rin is a YA character doesn't make the book YA. I
Sure.
can't imagine 16-year-olds reading
Starting
this.
to read this, yeah, it would be
Oh
even more
god.
traumatizing. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Especially now with like the fucking self-harm in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Which that still didn't that was never like explained or brought up again. That was just weird. Just plain old
Yeah.
weird. Unless of course that's definitely part of a villain arc.
Oh,
Um
yeah.
yeah. All right. Well, I don't know. Should we read any more? What do you think, Julia? Do you not want to read this anymore?
I'm not gonna lie to you and say yeah.
I don't know. I think we
I don't
should
know.
stop them.
I
I
think
think
the
it should.
next one's even longer than this one.
I think it should be like relatively unanimous when it comes to like continuing stuff like this, right? I mean, especially if you're just sort of like staunchly against, and I could see it getting worse in terms of the weird stuff. At the same time, I could see it never coming up again because maybe this one is called Poppy War, and maybe the other ones aren't about war, so maybe it won't happen again. But it could get worse at the same time with the weird stuff.
I'm easily swayed, so whatever you guys think.
I don't mind continuing. I don't think it's going to be as gruesome as the first book, but I don't know. Maybe we like one of us could just do a peek and see if there's anything like that. I don't mind doing that because I think the next story might be centered around the empress lady who kind of betrayed her people. Like
Mm.
like
Yeah,
she betrayed him and disappeared, right? So like what's happening there? I'm
that's my
guessing that
other
is,
fucking gripe with this stupid fucking book is a fucking empress. Like, why are we getting her in big like? And that's when I'm like, okay, well, clearly she wrote this book knowing she was gonna write a second book, but like the whole thing's fucking weird too with the empress. Like, I didn't fucking like that either. I was like, give me more. Why'd you give us 10 pages of fucking torture, but you gave us like 3 of the fucking empress, who's like the major part of the fucking book? Like, that made no sense to me.
yeah. Right now she's the villain of the story,
She is
even
the
though
villain.
but we don't know anything about her. She
Well, I know
showed
how
up
they were
at
fucking
one
tortured.
time to kill that poor guy and then she vanished basically. So
Did
I'm guessing
either
that was the setup for book 2.
did
I
either
don't
of you
know.
look up a map for this by any chance?
Who's the beginning of the book? I don't remember. I didn't flip back to it. I saw the.
So I looked up a map. I usually like knowing maps just in general, and I think this is kind of an official map. I don't know, but because like I saw when on Google Images, I saw like a lot of like the same map. So like I'm guessing it's like canon. And one of the things that's like really strange is like these people that were coming in and like destroying them. They were all coming from like a very small island. And it didn't make any sense to me like how they got so massive, how they got so powerful, how they got so deadly, and why they were able to like just kick their asses so badly. Like when I saw that, like in my mind, I was picturing like it more like like a continent-sized island, like across the sea, like big, but it's just this little like sliver of land, and that was like weird to me. I looked it up once it got destroyed, and I was like, what exactly got destroyed? And yeah, it's like this little crescent-shaped I don't know. It's pretty weird. Like I don't that part I especially like don't get. Like how
Well,
they got so buff.
if they're supposed to be Japan attacking China, I guess I
Mm.
could see it.
Okay. Yeah, you right. You right.
So maybe
It looks
that's
way
why.
it looks way lamer than that though. I guess if I'm looking at no, it just it does like but Japan has kicked a lot of ass over the years for better or worse, and they are basically an island. So that's fair.
Hmm.
That's fair. Yeah. I am good either way. I don't know what we should do.
We can continue. I'll be fine. I'll suck it up.
All right. All right.
It's a hate read for me at this point, but I'm gonna do it.
Okay. Do it like a good. Is that like a big ass stain? I just put this on. What the heck? Oh gosh, that must be like grease or something. That's sad. This shirt's probably toast. Okay. Well. Oh, bye YouTube.
Bye.
I
Oh my
love it,
gosh, that was
Dan.
such a long discussion.
That was a long one.